Hey everybody, it's Rob here. Today we are looking at potentially the best Sorc build for Season 4. It's the Frosty Stride Flame Shield Sorc. And surprisingly, they have not nerfed this Sorc in comparison to the PTR. It is, however, a very endgame focused build. Definitely not recommended for new players or for players that are just, starting out in the game. Like, it's not really a leveling build or anything. This is like a high endgame build. You need a lot of cooldown requirements. You need a specific aspect, the Frosty Stride aspect, with a high roll to even deal damage. But if you have it, you can expect kind of something like this. This is footage from Mekuna, so big shout out. I'm going to link this video and the planner in the description. And you guys can see here, like, this sorcerer is just absolutely plowing through this pit 200 on the PTR. And again, like, the footage that you're watching, the only nerf that's really coming to it is the hectic one that we know so far. But there is another note that makes up for it, because the attacks reduce cooldown of evade has actually been significantly buffed on your boots. But yeah, you guys can see here, like, every time he evades, he is basically triggering this aspect, and he is doing a bunch of damage to everything in an AoE where he ports. So you have insane mobility, and while you have this mobility, you're also dealing an insane amount of damage. And on top of that, you are in most cases completely immune to damage. And you guys can see here, like, when it's hitting the boss, we're hitting for like about 40 to 50 million. You guys can see that's 40 million. Whenever he evades, boom, that's another 44 million. Evades 45 million. So whenever he presses his spacebar button, and Sorc can evade a lot because you have a lot of cooldown resets. So yeah, that is basically the build. It's like 2 minutes for this high tier, so check out Mekuna. And let's look at it. So the main thing that makes it work is this aspect here. Amulet of the Frosty Strides. And you can see right away, and also in this footage, that he is actually not playing at full health. And this is the main reason why this is not recommended for new players, is you cannot heal. And this works so well in the Sorc because you have a barrier to fully protect your health globe. So you're never taking any real damage, so you don't ever have to heal. Because you have this 83% requirement here. Like, if you are above 83% life, the build doesn't trigger. And so it reads, evade, freezes close enemies, and hits them for almost 100,000 damage. And keep in mind, like, normal weapons, they have like 2k damage, and the two-hander have like 4k damage. So this thing is absolutely insane. And does almost like, 20 times your weapon damage, basically. So Mekuna is even here, so you can even reach 60 million. And I was like kind of under the impression that this would not really exist anymore. But right now, this is a tier list draft. I have it at the very top of A tier. It's almost getting into S tier, but you have the Minion Necro there, which is the strongest build in the game, and it's not close to that, but it's probably the best Sorc build, but only in the very high end game. So let's get into the player. This one also is going to be linked in the description. So obviously on the amulet, you have the aspect of Frosty Strides. This is the big multiplayer. You also want this on your amulet because it boosts the damage, and it also makes the shred hold for your HP a bit more easy to achieve. Then you're rocking here Concussive Strike. This is basically another way to stagger the enemies. You guys can see here in the footage, especially on the boss fight. You actually want to be staggering because you get a bunch of multipliers, and also the boss doesn't do anything if you stagger. Let's actually quickly go, before we talk about all the gear, let's go in the patch notes. So this is one of the big buffs that the build is getting. So attack, reduce, evade, cooldown FX has been increased from 0.8 to 1.5. So this is what you usually have here on your boots. I actually don't have it right now, but basically it reduces the cooldown of your evade with every attack, and Sorcs have many ways to do that. There's also been a slight nerf to that, so Unstable Currents, for example, doesn't trigger it anymore, but it has double the chance here, double the cooldown reduction. And there is another slight nerf to the build. It's the hectic aspect. So this one is also usually used. It's a bit nerfed. This is mainly affecting the flame shield. We don't fully know what's happening with the flame shield duration, that we have here. You guys can see here, like on the gear, we have this effect tempered. called Flame Shield Duration. And obviously, completely immortal builds like this one are not really the design intent. You guys can also see there's only 2 skills on the bar because you don't want to waste your hectic procs. So you don't want any other skills here. Like let's say you take some other skill, it's actually gonna hurt it, right? Because you don't even want to take teleport, because all the teleport you do is with the enchantment and you press your space bar to teleport. And then it basically just, your Frostball just reduces the cooldown of your Flame Shield. And it's just rocking like insane. You have the hectic aspect. Again, this one is a bit nerfed now. It's only 2 seconds. You guys can see it used to be 4 seconds. It's halved. But therefore the implicit here is buffed on the boots. So this is going to be pretty insane in terms of builds, but it's also going to be a very, you know, hard to play special build. And if you look back at the tier list, it might not be as strong in terms of DPS as the minion necro, but you know, necromancers in particular, and also druids to a degree, are kind of slow classes. Like if you're looking at this tier list or at this power level from a speed run perspective, the sorcerer completely overshadows the necromancer and the druid, because sorcerer has this perma teleport, and there's no way, you know, you can ever reach a speed like this on a necromancer. Like, it just physically can't walk that fast and still deal this damage. So if you want to do very, very high pit, the S tier builds like the minion necromancer and the tornado outperform this. But if you want to do speed runs like open world content, Helltide, or you want to do nightmare dungeons, this is the build for you, and it's an insane one. So let's go over the rest of the gear. So we have Hectic, again to reduce the cooldown, and yeah, the ranks to Flame Shield further help you with the cooldown management. Shredding Blades here, big multiplier. Tybet's Will, you're still getting the Unstoppable from your Flame Shield, so this just gives you more DPS. Always go deeps, Sorc forever, let's go. Exploiters here. You know, when you're CCing the enemies, they become unstoppable really quickly. It's another 1.4 multiplier. And here the big one, attacks reduce evade cooldown. This one is not updated yet. It's not 0.8. It's actually 1.5 as per the patch notes. So this is like the big buff that makes up for the hectic nerf and other things. Then we're playing Conceited here for the barrier. We're playing Stormswell, Inner Calm, Tarasha Loop. This one also got a bit changed, but you're not really even using 4 elements, right? Like this, the Tarasha Loop changed. Tarasha. So you guys can see here the maximum stacks are kept at 4, and what you're doing is you're using the now nerfed Elemental Surge just to proc poison damage, for example, and then you use Fire, Cold. I think here you can use another one like Shadow. I don't know why it wasn't saved, to get another proc. So you're gonna get like 4 procs here. And yeah, maybe with lightning you get 5, and this is like not possible anymore. But I think it still doesn't hurt if you have these 5, because they're otherwise not always up. Then you have the Frosty Strides here. This is what we already talked about. Again, 100k base, like big weapon damage on base. And that's pretty much the build. Skill tree, pretty straightforward. We use the Fireball Enchant, so we max this. Again, Frostball is only there to trigger your DPS. Like, this is not really making you deal much more damage. It's mainly all coming from your amulet. So you want to stack generic multipliers and damage buffs here. Teleport, max. Flame Shield next for the extra duration. Teleport, this ranks. You see the cooldown goes down if I dump in more ranks. It actually also reduces the cooldown of your evade. Teleport, so it's pretty insane. Precision magic, lucky hit chance, protection, all the extra multipliers here because we're doing cold damage, and we actually have a bunch of more multipliers down here, like multiplicative against elites, things like that. Then we're playing Verse Mastery. This one is actually a proper multiplier now. It also gives you damage reduction. And then Paragon is rocking like this, Elementalist. Control, again, we are staggering a lot, so control is always good. Icefall, because it's cold damage. Tactician, they actually made this one a multiplier now. It used to be additive, so it's a very good choice because, yeah, Flame Shield is a defensive skill. We always have it up every 4 seconds anyways. So big multiplier. Enchanter here. This one gives you more resistance. We also want the Enchantment Master, I think. Yes, Enchantment Master, because this Enchantments are 20% stronger. Also reduces the cooldown of your teleport evade because it's an enchantment. So in the end, I think your evade is like what, like 2 seconds or something. You can see once he evades, it's like about 2 or 3 seconds, and then you just need 1 or 2 resets. Usually 1 reset is fine if you have a proper cooldown gear, and then you're already getting it. So it's very important to have this enchantment master because it basically means 20% evade cooldown reduction for you. And then down here we have destruction and charge. But again, the planner is in the description, and make sure to check out Mekura here, who at least I saw was the first one who played this build, so big shout out. Big Sorc player, and I'm actually surprised that this one has not received a nerf because this one is actually insanely strong. I'm looking forward though to probably be playing it as well. If you like any kind of speedrun and you are like a min-maxer, this is the build for you. But if you are looking, you know, for like a beginner-friendly build, probably Frozen Orb or Blizzard Sorc or something is more for you. But yeah, Frosty Stride does rock. Ton of fun to play. Hope you guys enjoy and have an amazing season 4. Sorcerers, let's go. Take care, my friends. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.